What is up, all you little pumpkin titties?
Oh, pumpkin titties. Welcome back to Too Tough to Cry podcast.
That's right. It's us.
Pew, pew, pew.
Your favorite hostesses.
With the mostesses.
The mostesses. As you can see, it's the third episode and only the third episode, and I look like a piece of shit.
You got real comfy real quick, but also...
This is the real me. Now you guys have seen me at my worst, and I don't have anything to live up to. Like, I can just look like this.
You do not even look bad. I am in the exact same outfit as you, but I have a full face of makeup on because
I have a hair brow.
I took an Instagram photo today for the first time in almost a month.
I saw your stories. I saw the post. You
Yeah.
looked stunning per usual.
Thank you. I cannot believe I went almost a full month without posting on Instagram. There was a time in my life where I posted
constantly posting
every day.
I post more than you do now.
Yeah, you do.
And I literally used to never post on Instagram.
Yeah. I just got real comfortable during the pandemic doing nothing, and it's hard for me to get out of it.
I honestly, it's a task to take pictures, though.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. As you can see, we don't have any mic stands.
We got rid of those bitches real quick.
I just bought them, and we just got rid of them.
We used them for one episode because we realized that...
No, we've used them for...
No, one.
Yeah, one.
Because...
Yeah.
So we didn't like that we had to sit and lean forward, especially, you know...
And we moved it closer now. So now that we can lean back.
You can see us, and we are more comfortable, and... Right now, we're balling on a budget. We are doing this all by ourselves, so we can't afford those $600 mics yet, but
One day they'll come.
Jinx, you owe me.
Sponsor us, LaCroix.
I was going to say a LaCroix, and I already have
You already have one. I didn't even finish mine. I brought it in the car. It's been sitting in the car.
Wow.
I don't know. Something about it just didn't sit well with me.
Because it tastes like dessert. Guys, limoncello and key lime LaCroix are the best LaCroix out there. Quote me. I don't care.
Quote me.
Quote me on it. It's
Quote
a fact.
me, unquote. Listen, I have one thing I want to bitch about before we even get started.
That's fine.
So I was on TikTok and I saw this sneak peek of Logan Paul's podcast, and Jake Paul says that his new girlfriend is pregnant.
Oh!
Right? Julia Rose.
Is she really?
Or I don't know. That's the only thing I've seen. I haven't seen anything else about it. Then I see that he's going to propose or some shit. I don't know.
Okay,
and
well, he's already been married, apparently.
Well, apparently.
And apparently Jake Paul got his girlfriend pregnant. Is it for clout or is it real?
We don't know.
I don't know. I hate my life. I love doing that voice.
I can't do it, so props to you for being able to do it so perfectly.
It's just because I've watched the video like an obscene amount of times. But
okay, this isn't. But her being pregnant, if you are, congratulations. That's not my qualm. It's more so I was then immersed in Jake Paul's tagged photos because this man gets tagged in 3,000 photos a day. So I was trying to find, is there proof to this pregnancy?
Proof in the pudding.
And I get to some interviews, like he had an E interview or something like that, Entertainment Weekly, and she was like, last time I spoke to you, you were with Julia, and she claimed that you cheated on her and you guys broke up. Like, where does that stand now? And then Julia pops up in the interview being like, I'm here. And it was just like a really... It was, I don't know. It was just like kind of embarrassing because she then proceeds to ask, well, did he cheat on you?
Oh my God.
And they just both were like, no. And then she's like, well, what did he do to get you back? And she was just like, he FaceTimed me.
Oh,
and I just was like, ugh. But that is also not my qualm with what was going on. I literally
Tell me the qualm.
The qualm is I saw these. This is why the internet is so fucked. I saw these like fan-made posts of everyone like tagging them, being like, "This is what true love looks like. This is." And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, "You guys will ship anybody and anything," and I can relate to that. Like with the whole Chris T thing, you guys just and I like thank you for believing in people. But there are so many red flags in those situations where I'm just like, does that look like true love to you, and how?
I'm saying this now, like, you should not admire anyone's relationship that's like these. Well, I shouldn't really say that because me and Scott, but I was going to say like these big social media people because you have no idea if it's for clout or not. Like, I have met so many couples that I thought were real couples, and they're like, no, we're not. Like, they don't even like each other. They're just doing it for the gram.
It's so strange because it's like this whole facade they put on for these people. And like, there's so many young kids watching this. Like, for me too, where everyone's just like, I ship you guys. This is what I want one day. And it's like, you're giving this fake narrative to how love is half the time. And it's just like, I don't know. The internet really fucking pisses me off.
Well, I just think that that's really, it's, oh, you know what? I do it myself. Like Tom Holland and Zendaya. I love watching relationships bloom and supporting them and shipping them and being a stan. But at the end of the day, like, I know that you put your best self and the best parts of your life on the internet.
Right.
So to look at a relationship and be like, that's what I want my relationship to look like. Behind closed doors, they could have a really toxic relationship, and that's not what you want it to look like.
I mean, if you even look at, and I mean, this is all defense to Jake Paul because I'm about to just basically shit on him, but like, but not like to him because I don't know who Jake Paul is. I've never met him in my life. But like with him and Tana, like everyone was like, oh my God, I ship you guys. This is perfect. And then like, look at it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like with Jake Paul's record, he doesn't have a great record when it comes to relationships. And he gets shipped with every person he's with, and every relationship ends toxically.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Toxically? It is
it's
now.
Are
you kidding me?
Dude, that's like the third time? Well, I don't even know. We're on the same wavelength. This because we're dressed in sweatshirts.
Yeah, and we're
and
like
sweatpants and
it's
relaxed.
late. We're loopy.
Yeah, it is late. It is literally 9:30 in the PM.
Well, that's really late for her.
It's very late for me. I'm usually in bed
by 10.
So we're gonna be here for another hour.
You really gonna get super loopy.
My whole schedule is gonna be screwed up. But anyway, was I saying toxically?
Oh yeah,
but yeah, it's just like then people continuously ship them with people.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I've ever been in any person's videos, stories, anything, it's immediately like, oh my God. If they don't know who I am, they're like, oh my God, who's the blonde girl? When I had blonde hair. We ship them together. Oh my God, I ship them. Oh my God, I ship them. And it's like, you've seen me for 5 seconds, interacting with someone for 5 seconds, and immediately shipped.
I'm telling you, the internet has not only made the world a better place, but a worse place at the same time. Like, it's a very even scale of bad and good.
Yeah. Well, we're really, I was just about to say wheelie.
Willy, silly wabbit.
Wheelie, quick sidebar.
Your favorite word is sidebar too.
I know. Yours is, that's neither here nor there. And mine's quick sidebar. And usually the sidebar, it ain't quick. Wasn't Julia Rose on your show?
Are You the One?
Not your season, but
no,
Are
she
You
was
the
on
One?
Are You the One? Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny is I remember I loved her on that show. And she was super reserved. I remember she didn't kiss anyone. She only kissed the one guy that she ended up being with or whatever. And that was after
then she fully
a little
unleashed.
bit. And that's what I was going to say. Good for her.
I know. She got a fucking banging body.
Oh my God. Those are her real boobs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's
she's got Julia, you have an insane body.
Jake, I see what you
I get
see.
it.
I get it.
I fully understand. She seems very also driven.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
She's an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
She has literally paved the way for women to show their titties.
Yeah. She's such like a...
I mean, she's not a Hugh Hefner, but like...
No. But she's such a badass in the sense of she was like, this is what I'm going to do, and I don't give a fuck if anyone thinks it's inappropriate or whatever. And she crushed it. Mm-hmm. She blew up.
Listen, they're both in the same field of like, he paved the way for his little shithead stunts.
True.
And she paved the way for her little booby stunts.
Yeah.
And they're both in their own lane, and maybe it's going to work.
I think,
they're
honestly,
both successful.
That's probably why it does work out, because, you know, you kind of have to date someone that either really understands what you're going through, or really supports it, or is going through it themselves. I don't know. So for them, they both are crushing it in different ways, obviously.
Yeah.
So it really might be
maybe are we shipping them?
Are we?
Did we just ship Julie and wow, we had a full 180 on this
Look
show.
at us.
That is
People
called
do change.
growth.
Wow. Julie Rose, I hope you're pregnant now.
Now I hope you guys are having
I'd
babies.
love to see the baby.
Just don't name it something stupid.
Name it Jack, since Julia, Jake, Jack. Keep it in the J family. I'm giving you my name to give to the baby.
Oh, whether it's a boy or girl. It's very
Yeah.
unisex if you just name it Jack.
I know.
It's going to be Jacqueline
Yeah.
or Jack.
Just Jack.
Just Jack.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of things on the internet being misconstrued, if you will, right? Is that a good word to segue
That's
into?
the perfect word.
Thank you.
We're segueing. Take a deep breath. We are segueing into our main topic. Quick sidebar. I went on a Segway tour of Washington, D.C. once, and it was the greatest thing I've ever done. And I recommend
Quick sidebar.
we go to DC and
Segway?
Yeah, you get a little nerdy helmet.
I was
and
gonna say you wear the helmet. Do you go
Vroom,
with
vroom.
like a Segway
tour guide.
tour guide?
Oh hell yeah!
Wow.
And you go see all the monuments on your Segway. I don't know where the photo is now. I think I deleted it off my Instagram, but I did it with my friend, and we got a photo in front of. I really am struggling to speak tonight.
That's
A
okay.
photo in front of, I think, the Lincoln Memorial, and we're literally wearing our helmets real tight on our chin, and we're just smiling so big.
Wait,
on
I
our
feel like I've
Segways.
seen this.
It looks like we're in front of a green screen. It is such a funny
You're gonna have to pull that up so I
photo.
can see it.
Yeah, I
I mean,
will.
not now, but
But yeah, to segue into
well,
our topic.
let me just sidebar from there. I feel like I'm like the most unpatriotic person. Like I have no desire to see any monuments and shit in this country.
Oh, I only went to go see the monuments because I was close and I had never been to Washington, D.C. And I was like, let me go see them.
I've never been like that toury person. Like I've never
Yeah.
wanted to see the things people want to see.
I wouldn't have like planned to go vacation there for fun, but my friend's sister lived in Arlington, Virginia, which is like right outside of D.C. So we just kind of were
Okay,
like,
well,
we
yeah, that makes
gotta.
sense.
But
Well-
you know, they're cool in person, but I think you get the whole idea online at photos.
Yeah, I'm cool with photos.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't need to go to Washington D.C. to go look at the monuments.
Yeah, I think go.
My mom lives around there. She can take photos and send them.
Yeah, go see like a waterfall or something.
Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah, I've been to Niagara Falls, and it's awesome.
Is it really?
Yes, it is so cool.
It's like another thing that I've never had the desire to go see.
Oh no, see, that's really freaking cool. It's like blows your mind how just ginormous these waterfalls are. And then you take the tour and you find out about people who went over the falls and lived, and it makes no sense. And then there's this one boat tour that I almost shat my pants on because I was so afraid, but I lived.
Do you
It
get to
takes
the
you-
edge?
No, God.
Oh.
I would never do that. It takes you to the bottom of the falls, like really close, so that you just get misted. You have to wear little
Raincoats. Like it's on like
Parkas.
The Office.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
they get married, when Pam and Jim get married.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Wow.
It's so sick.
I would do that solely for the Office moment.
Yeah.
Maybe Cam and I will get married via ferry near Niagara Falls.
Hell yeah. I'll be
you
there.
heard it here first.
I'll get
What? I'm sorry.
I'll get ordained, and I'll
I
ordain
honestly
you
thought
or
you were.
marry you. What?
No, you would marry us.
I get ordained, and I can marry you.
You can marry us.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, if you really want to ordain her, was it?
My sister's ordained. She's married like 5 of her friends.
That's kind of sick.
I know. She's
I wouldn't be able to
marry
get
her.
ordained. Oh, ordained. All right.
You know what?
This is just a whole tongue twister of an episode. I don't know. Like I said, it's almost past my bedtime, and here we are because we're dedicated to you guys.
Guys, we're real professional over here, if you didn't know.
Well, if you didn't know, I'm also wearing my Crocs. I'm in full sport mode. I'm ready to go. I also have all the little things on them.
I know, I like what are they called? Tonkins?
I don't know what they're called.
I think like Tonkins or something like that. I'm wearing shorts, basketball shorts underneath my ginormous sweatpants, and I went to grab my phone to get my notes. and it was in my shorts pocket, and I was struggling to get it out of my sweatpants.
Is that
pocket.
what you were just doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, you bet your ass that's what I was doing. Okay.
Back to how I wanted to segue earlier.
Yeah, how? I don't even know.
With the internet being a ridiculous place to find information and to see things, we want to talk all about how the media and entertainment world over-sexualizes sex. I find it has been quite a large issue in my life, and I think both of our lives.
Yeah, 100%. So we kind of touched base on this last episode with the Q&A, because a lot of you had some sex questions because we're clearly the sex doctors.
Very much so, and you will see that we know what we're talking about, and it is not awkward for either of us to say anything like penetration or orgasms.
Instead of saying that word, I'll be like,
in and out.
When they're about to bust.
I'm about to bust.
She's like, come,
have an orgasm.
So basically, we are firm believers that sex is over-sexualized all of the time in TV shows,
TikToks,
movies, podcasts,
Instagrams,
songs, everything. It's just everything is super over-sexualizing sex. And
what do you mean by over-sexualizing sex, though?
So making it seem like sex is on everyone's brain all of the time, and you always want to have sex,
and then it's always like this crazy escapade.
Yeah.
Everyone speaks, like, you see those TikTok trends of like people like talking about getting choked out and whatnot. Like, mind you, no kink shames here ever, but it's just like there's also like 14-year-olds doing this.
I know. Well, that's really bizarre.
Which is basically the point we're trying to make, because it is so all across all boards crazy, described crazy. Like, everyone is fucking like porn stars constantly.
Yeah.
So then it's rubbing off on these kids thinking that I blame 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as 50 Shades of Grey came out, then that 365 or whatever that movie is, and then that Sex Life, like all of these things that are coming out are like portraying sex to be this raunchy, like crazy, steamy, hot thing. And I feel like it's really influencing the younger generation to start like putting themselves out there in a sense of whether they want to do that or not. They just think that's the fucking right way to go about
That's the norm.
Things.
If I'm not constantly thinking or talking about sex, then, or wanting sex, something's wrong with me.
It's like that's like a way for people to relate now.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I have heard people make jokes about wanting to fuck so bad. Meanwhile, I know for a fact that they are borderline asexual. And that, to me, is just really sad, because it shows just how much we are so influenced to think that we have to think sex is the best thing on earth to be cool.
Yeah.
And
or like for someone to want us.
Yeah.
And it stems from all the insecurities, even without it being over sexualized on the internet and entertainment and whatnot. Like, you initially, as a woman specifically, like you think that because men are so sexually driven that's what you need to like give.
Yeah. And so what we kind of just want to break down today is
we're going to be your sex therapist today.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's like I feel like this is going to be a therapy lesson for us too.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a good thing to just kind of talk out, because again, I rarely hear anybody talk about sex this way. It's always in the, and then I did this move and he was weak in the knees, and like to lock him down you got to do.
You still make it so Disney. Like, I made him
grandma.
weak in the knees.
But like, you got to do this to lock him down, and like you got to pop your pussy, and that felt really uncomfortable coming out of my mouth immediately.
It's gonna sound very uncomfortable when we watch this back.
I know. Whatever. I'm already prepared to be like, I can't believe I said that. But yeah, so we just kind of want to talk about how if you're not into having sex,
that's fine.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And it's actually so fucking normal to
It really
not want to have sex.
And like basically we've been saying, it's like all over. You're constantly seeing it. It's in your face. You never hear people talking about their lack of drive, or the lack of like sex in their relationship, or they just don't have like that desire. They don't get turned on. They don't think about it all the time. Like you never see that because it's not what people think the norm is.
Yeah, it's not normalized to not always want to have sex, to not always be in the mood to have sex.
Yeah, and to be fucking so good at it, and like trying these insanely crazy things and choking people out and pouring hot wax everywhere. Like,
oh god,
it's just, it's so glamorized.
Yeah,
and you don't get the dirty, like not the dirty, the lackluster parts of what a sex life can be like.
Yeah, it's never like you never watch a I was gonna say rom-com, but I guess more so a romantic movie, and there's never a scene where the girl's like, hey babe, I honestly don't really feel sexy and I just know I'm not gonna be into it, so can we not have sex tonight? That never happens.
No, it's always this like passionate love throw up against the wall. I haven't seen you all day. Rip off the shirt.
Yeah, like, and it really starts to fuck with your head. I know there's been plenty of times where I have not been in the mood to have sex, and I start to think, is something wrong with me? Do I need to go see a doctor? Because I feel not normal, because society and the media and everything's telling me that I should want sex always. Whenever it's offered to me, I should want it, and these are the moves that you should pull out, and that's not how I feel.
And it's like how to keep your man happy, et cetera, et cetera. We've had these conversations countless times now.
Yeah.
Because it's a real issue, and that no one talks about it. I like literally just started talking about it with my friends, and I have connected with multiple people who feel the exact same way about sex, how they don't have that same drive, how it's causing rifts in their relationship, or they don't have anyone to talk to about it, or they don't know what's wrong with them. They've been trying to figure it out. And really, I'm in that same boat where I can just sit there on Google all day being like, how do I help my libido? What's going on? Why don't I have that? Like, and I'm constantly looking because I don't have answers, and I don't hear anybody else talking about it.
No, you really start to think, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. I was talking to one of my friends about this, and she was like, do you know how much you just validated me? Because I felt broken for the past 2 years, because she's in a very happy, loving relationship. But for the past 2 years, she just has not been feeling super sexual. And she legitimately thought that she had something so wrong with her, because how on earth could she not want to have sex? And that's normal. And that's so just the whole conversation we want to have today. So yeah, not wanting to have sex, totally a normal thing. You don't always feel super sexy. You don't always feel into it. Sometimes you'd rather just watch a movie and cuddle, or maybe not even cuddle. It is nothing to do with your attraction to your partner or how much you love your partner. And I think that's the big takeaway here. I absolutely love my boyfriend with all of my heart. And there are some days where I'm like, you, me, let's go. And then there are some days where I'm like, I know I won't get into it. I just don't feel like I want to. I'm too tired. I don't feel sexy. And I've finally accepted that that's normal and okay. I don't have to start Googling and be like, do I have a brain tumor? Why are my hormones off? Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. I mean, I still Google.
I know.
I still do the old WebMD bullshit. I mean, the same for me. I have an amazing boyfriend. He is like literally 100 out of 10, and he's fucking gorgeous. I am so attracted to him. And I don't even think about sex.
Yeah.
I can go weeks without even thinking about it. Like, it doesn't even cross my mind. But I want to have sex with him.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets confusing and hard for me, and that's why I Google it all the time, is that my brain is like, oh, he's so hot. go have sex with him. But my body doesn't follow it. Ever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, meh.
But
I'd rather just cuddle.
And you know what? Sometimes maybe there really might be something going on, and you know, you can always go venture and see a therapist, a sex therapist, and see if there is a deeper problem. But a lot of times it's just you're just not in the mood, and that's okay. There are so many other factors that play into a relationship that sex just might not be your top priority, and it doesn't have to be. A lot of times with men, they're much more sexual beings, so sex is one of their top priority things. But just
even society, sorry, I don't mean to.
No.
But even society has given this, like, the men are sexual creatures. I mean, we all are sexual creatures to an extent, but, like, do men have pills called Viagra? But do women?
No, I don't.
No.
Unless
There's
you go to
like a fucking goat, horny goat shit.
No, a gas station.
Yeah, the horny goat shit.
Behind the counter, there's like sketchy
But I don't think those actually do anything for women. But like,
and I don't think I would ever try one.
I mean, maybe just, like for fun one day. Let's see if it does anything. But like, society basically says men love sex.
Yeah.
Here's everything that they need for sex.
Ugh.
Here's condoms. Here's pills if you need pills.
Yeah.
Here's this and this and that. The only thing we really get is birth control.
I know, which we shouldn't even have to take, because it should be shooting with a gun with no bullets, not shooting at a bulletproof vest. You ever heard that?
I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's what birth control is. Why are we taking birth control? So they can still shoot their little spermies inside of us, and then we have to make sure our body shuts it down.
Yeah.
Versus it should be the other way around. But anyway, that's another topic.
That's neither here nor there.
That's neither here nor there. But yeah, so just getting back to sex might not always be the top thing in your relationship that matters to you. And that's 100% normal and 100% okay, because, you know, I think that having respect for one another is really fucking important. Bettering each other, becoming your best self with your partner, being best friends with them, being able to talk to them about anything, and being so comfortable with them. Those are all things that I think trump sex.
I also think that you can build intimacy other ways.
Absolutely.
Like, there's so many different ways to become closer to your partner. Especially just like being able to be open and having these conversations and showering them with other things that you are capable of giving at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that builds the intimacy. I feel like that builds relationships. But I will play devil's advocate. A lot of men feel like they need to feel validated through sex.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, how do you handle that?
Yeah. So that kind of is leading to the next point, that men typically are more sexual. And I mean, I've seen in like every interview of like any man that's been asked about sex, like, how often do you want sex? The one I'm thinking of specifically is Sebastian Stan, who was asked, like, weirdly in an interview, how often do you like to have sex? And he literally was like, as many times as possible. Morning, afternoon, night, like, and that's a lot of men.
A lot. That's a lot of times.
I know.
I don't understand it,
but so usually their sex drive is higher. There are probably going to be times where you have to talk to your partner and be like, hey, I'm not in the mood. And I know that can be a really awkward conversation.
I've had plenty of those conversations.
Me too. And it always feels so uncomfortable because, again, we live in a society where, what? You don't want to have sex? That means you're definitely not attracted to.
Yeah, like you don't find me attractive, like desirable, and that is literally not the case. Like, I don't know how many times I can tell my boyfriend, who I've said millions of times already, is fucking beautiful.
He really is.
He is the fucking hottest person on the planet, and he's so sexy, and it's literally nothing against him. No. If I could have all the sex in the world with him every single day, every minute of the day, I would. But my body doesn't want that. Like, it just, my body shuts down to the point where it's concerning for me, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, we are.
One way or another.
We're going to normalize it, and potentially get to the bottom of it, because, maybe there is something wrong, but maybe it's just your body being like, not tonight, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it's so okay.
You just have to find someone who's understanding. I mean, the conversations, we've had plenty of conversations about this, because Cam, being a man, but also just being Cam, is a very sexual person.
Yeah.
And he seeks validation through sex. Like like we've said, you find me very attractive. This is intimate for me. But it's taken a while for us to get on the same page of him to actually accept that it's not him. Like, it is nothing against him. It's me. It's one of those situations. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
And I'm figuring it out, but I love you more than anything. I am so attracted to you, and I'm doing everything in my power to show you that in other ways that I can right now.
Yeah. I mean, especially for me and Scott, there was a point, like last month, for the previous 4 months, I was just in a really depressive rut where I was functional and stuff, but I just literally didn't want to do anything. Like, during the day, all I wanted to do was just sit on the couch and like scroll through TikTok. And then I felt like shit. I felt the opposite of sexy. The last thing I wanted to do was take my clothes off and have him look at me. And even with him like reassuring me over and over and over that he thinks I'm the most beautiful thing that's ever walked the earth, I just did not feel it. I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel like having sex, because I was like, I'm not going to get into this. I'm going to be so thinking about what I look like right now, and I just don't want to do it. So we've had to have conversations too, and same exact thing. I just told him, like, it is not you. It is so me. It is my head. It is how I look at my body. I'm so attracted to you, and I try to show you that at all hours of the day with just affection and compliments. And if he asks me to do something for him, I'm like, yes, absolutely, because I want him to know how much I do absolutely love him. But sometimes I don't feel like having sex. And because I've had such an open conversation with him, we really have gotten to a really good understanding where sometimes I just don't want to, and it has absolutely nothing to do with him. He is the best sex of my life, and yet there are definitely times where I just am like, I know it probably will be amazing, but I can't get into it right now.
And it's one of those things too where you sit there and there's been points where I'm like, you know what, just do it.
Yeah,
you just do it, and then I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy the doing it, part.
Yeah,
but to get there, it's just like fucking pulling teeth.
Yeah.
And then you have that conversation with them about it, and they're like, well, that makes me feel terrible. You're forcing yourself to have sex with me. And it's not that I'm forcing myself to have sex. It's me convincing my body to go along with my brain.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that if you are experiencing exactly this, the most important thing that you can do is have an open conversation and reassure them that, you know what, it's really not you, it's me, and I'm going to work on it, or it's just kind of something that I'm going to have to work through on my own, or whatever. And at first,
it's going to take a bit.
Yeah.
It will take a bit.
Be surprised if your partner at first is, in fact, really struggling to wrap their head around it, because, I mean, reverse it. If you were super into having sex and your partner was like, I don't want to tonight, you might really be offended
by it
and be like, oh my God, this person is not attracted to me, because I can't imagine not wanting to have sex with them.
Right.
And that's one thing Scott has actually said to me, is he's like, I literally look at you and I'm just like, oh, whenever.
I know, that's what Cam says to me all the time.
He's like, I could be like I could be having diarrhea on the toilet and like be like, all right, time to wipe and let's go.
That's fucking repulsive.
I know. And that would never fucking happen. But point being that, whereas when you feel your absolute worst, he still is like, I would still do it.
It's hard for guys to fathom the idea that you don't feel good about yourself because they feel good about you.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is and that's why you just have to have the open conversation and be like, listen, I love and appreciate how much you are trying to let me know that I am perfect the way I am, but it doesn't matter. This is such an internal thing that it's not going to be fixed by your words. So we just kind of have to adjust. And again, give them time, because you would want them to give you time. But if they're not listening at all, and all they're doing is pressuring and sounding angry and annoyed,
that's when you need to reevaluate your situation.
Absolutely. Because so going back to what Shanley said, you should never feel like you have to force yourself to have sex. If you really are, like how Shanley said, she wanted to in her head, but her body didn't want to, so she kind of forced herself. That's different, because you do want to, and you're just trying to see if you can get yourself there. Totally different. But if you know you don't want to, and you would only be having sex with this person to make them happy, that's not fair to you.
To keep them in your life, that is toxic.
Not fair.
That is a very big red flag.
It is and will never be our job to please a man and make him happy. So just because they get turned on by a gust of wind does not mean that you have to drop everything and the way you're feeling to make sure that his little ego doesn't get bruised. Because if he is getting upset, he's got a little ego. Mm-hmm. And if he can sit back and be like, I understand and I love you and we'll figure it out.
You found a keeper.
You found the one.
You really, there's few and far between too with men like that who are understanding of situations.
I think because a lot of men are used to getting their way, because a lot of women are brainwashed basically to think that they have to please a man. And oh my God, you do not have to.
No, but here's also where I'm not going to just say men are trash. Women are trash too, in the sense of when you were single, your sex life, I feel like I don't want to say at its peak, because it's not, but you are more willing to have sex while you're single. Mm-hmm. Then I feel like I get more comfortable in a relationship. So I'm trying to figure out, as I'm speaking this out loud, is how it correlates, how one another correlate. When I'm single, I have more sex than when I'm in a relationship. And that's been something that has happened to me in all my relationships. And what I think it is that when you're single, you're not consistently having sex with one person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yep. I'm sure you're going out, you're having fun, you'll hook up with somebody, and that's that.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of lead time. You're just kind of like, okay, we're going to do this. And you do it. And then you don't have to worry about having sex with them again if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And so, boom, it's out of the way. You don't have to think about it. And I think that's why sex is more apparent during the single life than it is in our relationship life.
Absolutely. Because to me, I kind of feel that when you're single, what do? You go out with you get all ready, you go out with your friends, and you see a guy and you're like, oh, he's hot, I'm gonna go talk to him. And then like one thing leads to another, and eventually, whether it's that night, if that's your cup of tea, or if it's in a month from then, you hook up with them, because that's eventually what happens with budding relationships or brand new relationships or whatever. And it's almost kind of like a game.
And it's also the consistency in hooking up as a single person who is found like a suitor, like you really like this person and you're constantly hooking up with them, because we have been led to believe that sex is a priority in a relationship. Mm-hmm. You're appeasing the man. As yourself, I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. You're not like forcing yourself to go and have sex with them, but it's fun. It's new. And it's like you're feeling each other out.
Well,
and you don't have all of those other aspects that you build in a relationship at the beginning of that relationship to lean on besides sex.
Absolutely. And most of the time, I feel that, a random hookup is never good. It never makes you orgasm. Are you proud of me?
I am very proud. That's a big word for you.
It's just like a fun thing, And then when you get into a relationship, you just have these connections that you would never have with random hookups or even flings. Like, you know, I'm so comfortable with my boyfriend now. I talk about if I have diarrhea, and I have no worries that he's going to look at me and be like appalled and disgusted. If anything, looks at me and he's like, how can I help you?
Yeah, he's like, do anything. Cam, I'm sorry, this is a sidebar. Cam, one night I had the worst diarrhea. The worst, like painful on the toilet, like in tears. And this poor man walked down to Gelson's to get me like Duralax and Imodium and everything that I possibly can take, like a softener, a fucking
I'm dead.
Very kind. That is where our relationship
and
is.
That is like, you would never do that with a random hookup. You would never do that with a fling or even just someone you've been seeing for a little bit. I mean, maybe you would, and hell yeah, kudos to you, bad bitch.
Bad bitch.
Not me. I have to get comfortable. And I mean, that's also with sex too. Like, I feel as though I do not feel comfortable enough. Well, I never did feel comfortable enough with a random hookup or a guy that I was maybe kind of seeing or whatever to like really tell them what I like and what I don't like.
Right.
It's more of just kind of, the game of like, oh, does he still like me? Cool. Or whatever. And do I still like them? So it's so different. The way you want to have sex when you're single is so different than when you're in a relationship. And that does not mean that you are like checked out of your relationship all of a sudden. It means, honestly, to me, it's like you've reached the next level where you're just like, I'm so comfortable around this person.
With you. I can connect with you more on so many other levels than just this sexual craze that we've been going through.
Because that's really like, I think a big part of single and hookup culture is just, that's a really, for lack of a better word, easy way to connect with someone is to just do it sexually. And I feel as though, so sex to me is all about attraction. That's all right. Just burp right into the thing. Sex is about attraction, of course, and then eventually intimacy. And the type of sex that like I personally like is super intimate and passionate. And that's why with my boyfriend, like, I love having sex with him more than I would ever want to just have a random hookup.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh God, now at least I'm like, oh,
I never want to go back to the streets. Keep me away from the streets.
Hell no. But that being said, there are times where I'm just like, babe, I'm sorry. Not tonight. I cannot. Nope. You don't want me to. I won't be there. My mentally, I'll be in La La Land. And we have a really wonderful understanding where he's like, that's fine.
And see, where we differ in this is that you are like, oh, tonight I don't feel like doing it, or this night, but maybe the next night I feel like that. I can go, like, I will have a dry spell and I can go months without having sex. And that is where it gets really difficult for relationships, because when you're going months without the physical intimacy, it gets in people's heads. And not only is it in my boyfriend's head, it's in my head, because I'm already thinking, oh, my boyfriend's thinking about the lack of sex, so what am I doing wrong, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where it goes even further for people, because maybe some of you are like me in the sense of sex just isn't a priority to you at all. There's so many factors that play into it, and I've made so many excuses before having this conversation with Cam. I've said, oh, I'm not feeling it because I'm so stressed out. Stress for women, it is scientifically known that we are stimulated through the mind before the body.
Absolutely.
So we enjoy the passion beforehand. We enjoy being courted. Whatever. But if there's other factors involved, like stress factors, anxiety, your brain will immediately shut down, and you will shut down any idea of sex.
Yeah.
Like you physically cannot come to terms with the idea of being physically intimate with somebody, because there's so much going on in your head.
Yeah.
And so I've used that as an excuse, and then that excuse kind of runs low, like what am I, constantly stressed? Probably fucking Lee, but like I
Probably.
digress. I'm always stressed. But then, you know, there are other issues that come into play, like your diet and whatnot. So I've literally have gone on the internet so many times. I even did it today just to, you know, freshen up on my WebMD and like things that could be wrong that are you can do on your own, like change on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many factors, and it's really sad that I don't hear people talking about it. I mean, sex is such taboo in the first place, and a lot of people don't like talking about it.
Yeah.
So to have like someone being like, oh, sex is great, we do it all the time, every day, 24/7, and then like to be the person that's like, I don't do that though, it just makes it harder for those people to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only thing being talked about.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, so we originally filmed this episode and then we listened to it and we felt that we didn't really make the points we wanted to make because, you know, it's still just our third episode. So we're newbies. But we really, really wanted to redo this episode because we knew that this is such an important topic for us and for our friends and for many other women out there who feel like there's something wrong with them.
And even men. Like, I know we've said 1,000 times that men have high sex drives, but there are even men out there that are just like, I'm not really a sexual person. And they just don't feel normal because, like us saying, men have high sex drives. That's what it's supposed to be. But it's totally okay and somewhat normal to not feel like you need to be having sex constantly. But if you're into it as far as I am, where you can go months without having sex or even thinking about it, then there are other things. Like I literally today, hold on, let me pull this up. You can talk. I gotta pull this up.
Well, what I was gonna say is, so we wanted to refilm this for you guys because this is really an important topic, and I just hope that it can open the floor to conversation of like, hey, listen, I love having sex with you when I want to have sex with you, but there are going to be plenty of times that I just don't feel like having sex, and it's nothing against you, and I just hope that it can be more normalized so that women don't have to put on this fake facade of, oh yeah, I love doing the loopty scoopty whoopty in the bed, and meanwhile they're like, oh my god, I literally never want to do that again.
Yeah,
because that's so unfair. And listen, I love talking about sex in funny ways too, and everything, and that's fun.
Whenever you talk about sex, it's funny.
Yeah, well, I know, because I'm just like a weenie hut junior. But I want everyone to just be like, okay, I don't feel like having sex. Totally normal, not weird. I don't have to go worry that I need to go put on take hormone replacements to fix the imbalance in my brain, because that's not it. That's not it.
Well, in some cases, it is not it.
Of course, if you really are feeling it's past the point of normal, then go talk to a therapist, a sex therapist. Like I said,
I've considered
no shame in that at all. Taking care of your mental health, your sexual health, no shame in that ever. Never be afraid to talk about it to anyone, because you're not in this life alone.
No.
You shouldn't have to try and figure these things out by yourself.
And there's professionals that can help. And
Absolutely.
Like I said, I've considered sex therapy. I just need therapy in general.
Yeah.
I just need a lot of therapy.
I think everybody needs therapy.
So there is something for women called a hypoactive sexual desire disorder.
Okay.
Where, here's some statistics on it, actually. Only 14% of women are aware of HSDD. Which brings us back to the point, it's never spoken about.
It's never spoken about. And I guarantee it should be like, that number should be so much higher, but because it's not spoken about and it's just something that you have to push down to like the bottom of you to be like, whatever, I'm just gonna push through and be uncomfortable and be upset and not happy that I'm like forcing myself to have sex and I don't feel like it's something I want to do right now, but I don't want my partner to think I'm not into them. Like, it should be such a more open conversation, just even in sex ed.
Yes.
It should be taught that, hey, listen,
it's okay if you do not have a sex drive.
It's okay. And even like you said, it's so mental. So even your mans could be doing all of the right things and it's still not turning you on. That is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many times I've literally thought, because like I said, Scott knows exactly what he's doing. Shout out Scott.
Shout out Scott. I don't know that, but
I,
shout out you, Scott.
yeah. But there has been times where he's doing exactly what I would want him to do, and I can't get there. And I've literally thought, oh my God, I'm broken. Oh my God, I no longer know how to orgasm. And I thought that it was like this terrible, horrible thing. And then I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm in my head right now, and there's other things that I'm really stressed out about or worried about, and I can't physically get to my climax.
I like do a silent cringe in my brain. Like I'm just like,
I have to say those words really like, ooh, because it is weird for me.
Okay, so back to the hypoactive sexual desire disorder, which I have now self-diagnosed myself with, which I'm pretty sure. And this is this fact right here, which makes me even more terrified, is why I've diagnosed myself. Mind you, I will get a sex therapist. I will not self-diagnose myself anymore, but I am convinced now that I have HSDD. So nearly half of sexually active non-menopausal women of 30 to 50 years old report they have experienced low sexual desire. And then I read on another one that it's your premenopause, and it's from 30 to 50. You're in premenopause period, and I'm 31 years old.
Oh my God.
And that's why I don't have sex.
Guys, Stanley's going into menopause.
That's terrifying. That is legit.
Are we going to get our
terrifying.
first tears of the podcast?
I don't know. Like, I'm turning bright red because, like, I'm in premenopause. When do women hit menopause?
Like 50.
I'm in premenopause.
You're not in premenopause. You
yes,
definitely
I am.
need
That's
to
what
go
it says
see
here
a
on the
therapist,
internet.
a doctor, or something so that they
It says it on the internet.
Oh, my. Oh, and the internet is always 100% correct, guys.
See, after reading a description of HSDD, 19% of women believe they might suffer from it. I am part of that 19%.
Oh, my God.
It says it causes distress and puts a strain on romantic relationships. Very true. 85% of women report that low sexual desire would hurt the level of intimacy with a romantic partner. 66% of women believe low sexual desire would impair communication with a romantic partner. Also true. We've covered all of the bases here. 59% of women who experience low sexual desire or self-identified with HSDD report that it negatively affects their relationships.
Yeah. And
all valid.
I believe that all of those stats are because we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it.
If this was a normal conversation that was being had, then having a lower sex drive wouldn't put a strain on a relationship because it would be a much more normalized, accepted thing.
Yeah, but even thinking about having that HSDD, it's so fun to say. That's why I keep saying it. I don't know why. Like I memorized what is it called? What is the little, like, do you just do it's not an acronym.
The what?
Like when you just do the letters of each.
I don't know, abbreviation? The initials?
I know it's something. Is it an acronym?
An acronym? Probably. Yeah, maybe. I think it is actually.
But after, learning about HSDD, did I say that right?
I feel like that time you didn't.
I don't think I said it right that time. I really fucked that up. I don't even remember where I was going with this.
I don't know either.
Okay. I know where I was going with this. So the women that have self-diagnosed themselves with this realize that it's a like a bodily function that is not functioning correctly, and they still have that mental desire. They're not sitting there being like, oh, I just don't want to have sex and fuck it, now I have this disorder and I have an excuse.
Yeah.
That is not what people, like women, say about this. There's literally a fact here that says 70% of those women want to take an FDA approved drug to help them have sex.
Yeah.
They have that desire to still have sex. They just can't physically do it.
Yeah.
And that is where I feel like I'm at.
Yeah.
I would do anything to have sex with my boyfriend in a way where we're both happy with it. Like I want my body to be there and like my brain is there. Would I take a drug for it? Fuck yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
If you knew it was safe and it was gonna help your body match your brain, absolutely.
The point of that is it goes straight back to it's not anything to do with our boyfriends.
No, it has nothing to do with your boyfriends.
We want to have sex with them. We physically cannot make ourselves have sex with them.
And you know what? So, like I said, and like we've just been saying this entire time, that it is so normal for you to not be in the mood one day, and then maybe for a next week, even a month, not be in the mood. Totally normal. And if you feel that you are past the point of normalcy, like we've been saying this whole time, then maybe you do have this, what is it? HSDD, whatever. And you wouldn't even know maybe before we even spoke about this, because it's not something that's spoken about. And we just want this whole conversation to be a normalized thing.
Yes. And we want you to communicate with us too. Like we're learning about this as you're learning about this now.
I know we were talking about that we wouldn't have guests on the podcast until season 2 because we just kind of want to crush it with just us.
I'd love to have a sex therapist
I would love to have a sex therapist on and talk about
I know one.
These normal feelings that women have, and men too, that anybody can have, about not wanting to have sex, about wanting to have sex, and then even just talk about things that could potentially help spice it up.
Improve your sex life.
Yeah.
Even talk about things that can help get you to that point. Like if you're struggling with wanting to have sex, talk about things that could put you in a position to actually get everything in motion.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to have a sex therapist on here.
I think we should absolutely do that, because I would love to hear what she has to say. Again, just to kind of validate our feelings and hopefully some of your feelings. If you're feeling like something's wrong with you, to validate that, nope, we're all in this together. And then learn some new tricks.
Some Gok 3000 that everyone's talking about on the interwebs. The old web of the inner.
I have no idea what that is. And I don't think I want to know.
You know, Gok.
Oh, that's what that means?
I think so. I think it means, yeah, giving head, giving a blowjob. Gok.
Is that because that's the noise that
I don't
it's
know.
supposed to make?
I'm assuming. It's very funny. I like to speak about sex like I know a lot about sex. I don't know jack shit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes I'm like, wow, I am a goddess sent from the heavens above. And then sometimes I'm like,
I'm a goddamn starfish.
I'm like, why does Scott even want to touch me?
That's literally me. Like, here.
I'm like, you know what? I hope that worked out for you. I hope that was all good, because I have no idea what I just did.
Absolutely no idea what I've just done.
And totally normal.
Totally
Sometimes
normal.
you're gonna feel like a badass porn star. I don't know if I've ever felt like a porn star, because I'm definitely not that skilled. But sometimes maybe. And then a lot of times you're just gonna be like, well, it was good. So I hope he was really happy.
I wish that I had not only the desire to have sex, but to film, like make a sex tape.
Oh.
I want to see what I look like having sex. I want to be my own coach, like to fix things, but I also would be so terrified of seeing a sex tape with ugly faces that I make, the fact that I can't arch my back the correct way. And
I feel you are way more in your head about that.
No, I'm like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, she claims that she doesn't know how to arch her
can't.
back.
I have a bad back. We know this. I've been complaining about my back.
You do have, because you're 31.
Because I'm fucking decrepit. I am deteriorating as we speak.
Guys, don't ever forget that Shanley is 31.
Don't ever forget. And watch all 3 of these episodes thus far and take a shot if you're of age every time I say I'm 31 years old.
Just gotta let the people know. No, but she claims that I was gonna say
my back is a bridge, like an arched bridge.
You're
not
so
like a
stupid.
straight bridge, and not like a good arch bridge.
I guarantee you, if
like
I
a
asked
rainbow.
Cam, he'd be like, "Oh, she know what she's doing."
I fucking hope so.
She
but he's
knows.
biased.
Yeah,
He's stuck with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Our lives.
the
But
rest
mine's
of
not
yours
gonna
is
be
gonna
that
end
too.
way sooner, Miss 31.
Oh, he's gonna have to put me in a fucking home real soon. Wow.
No. But yeah. So, and
What? Absolutely what?
I have no fucking idea.
I bet Julia and Jake have really fucking crazy sex.
Who?
Julia and Jake, who we just spoke about for 30 minutes in the beginning.
You know what? Honestly, if anyone's having super crazy sex, I would believe it's them. But Julia, if you're watching this and you're not having crazy sex, I want to validate you and let you know that that's okay.
That's okay.
Even though everyone thinks you guys are having crazy sex, if you're not, it's okay. Don't even worry.
Don't trip, sister.
Oh, God.
Don't be tripping.
Oh, God. Don't trip, sister. Yeah, so. And you know what, guys? If you want to try some new things and spice it up, hell yeah, do it. And if you don't.
And if you were in this rut that we've been in and you figured out a way to get out of it, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll take it all. Any advice we will gladly take with open arms.
I think
unless it's like telling us to go throw ourselves off a cliff and there's nothing that we can do to help us. I don't think I really want to do that yet.
There's never nothing to be done. I mean, even like I think for me, the best advice that I can give, as I've said probably 400 times, is have a really open conversation, because that is the first step in figuring out what you can do to help get your sex drive up or whatever, because it takes the pressure off. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing. I wish I said that earlier. Having a big, open, honest conversation about, hey, sometimes I'm going to be really into it and sometimes I'm really just not going to want to have sex, and I need you to know it's nothing against you. It's just all me. That takes so much of the pressure off, because I would feel so sad knowing that you or any of you are laying in bed and being like, oh, fuck, like, if he makes a move on me, like, I'm going to have sex with him because, like, I don't know how I'm supposed to tell him I don't want to without him being upset or offended. So getting the pressure off you, that already makes things so much easier. As soon as I talked to Scott about it, the pressure was gone, and it has made me so much more comfortable and in the mood, honestly, because I don't feel this stress of, oh God, I gotta come up with something.
Yeah, oh no, he's gonna touch my leg and then we're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
just no pressure.
I've literally have been in that position so many times, and this has been also before Cam and I had the talks and like finally getting on the same page of trying to please each other in different ways.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm not feeling it, but I know he is, and then like I can feel the move being made, and I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Just kind of like, it's just so crazy that it's literally been instilled in us that it's like embarrassing and not good and super not okay to not want to have sex.
And it's been instilled in us since the first of men that, like humans, that we are supposed to reproduce.
Yeah.
That is just something that we're known to have to do.
Absolutely.
And it has carried on more as the internet has happened into crazier shit that you're supposed to be doing or feeling, or how much sex you're supposed to be having.
Yeah.
And it's just not always the case.
No. And and listen, any men listening to this, it goes vice versa. This is not just a women thing. I think it definitely, I see it more common in women, but this is for anyone. Just like never feel pressured to have sex to please anyone. Like, that's really, I think, the biggest takeaway is you just got to be so true to yourself. And you know, sometimes if you do force yourself to have sex, it might turn out that you really enjoy it. But I genuinely think most of the time you're going to walk away and be like, well, I did it. And like, that's, you don't want that. It's supposed to be about you feeling so comfortable, you feeling the attraction and the intimacy. And if you're not there, do not do it. I hate when I hear women talk so crude and be like, you got to do this to really blow their mind. And if you want to do that, absolutely, all power to you. There's been plenty of times that I've been like, I want to knock Scott's socks off.
Oh no. Oh God.
But that's only when I really want to. You don't I feel women have been trained that they have to really do these things to just totally please a man and be better than the last girl. And like, no,
That's not it.
Having sex is about you, most importantly, your comfortability, what you're willing to try and not try, and then your partner.
Yes, and this we can get into on another episode, but have you guys ever heard of guys being like, this is what we need to do? You got to give her the chicka chicka bow wow 4,000.
Yeah, no.
You've never heard a man talking about how he needs to please a woman. I literally never see a TikTok like that. I never hear it on the podcast.
Damn, wait, that just actually kind of blew my mind. That is so true. How many podcasts and everythings are out there that are like, do this and you'll lock them down, do that and you'll lock them down? Like, you never hear that
this
about
trick,
men.
these guys love this trick, or
For
fucking
men.
cup their balls. Like you hear women talking about it all the time,
and
then you never hear men talking about how
because
they
men
should be
just
pleasing
get
women.
off so fucking easy. It's all about them still. And you know what? No, it's not. No, it is not.
We're
it's about
taking
us.
control of our narrative.
And was it a movie or a TV show or something? But the only time I saw something, I was like, oh, hell yeah. It was a woman and a man having sex, and she came, and then
Every day, it happens to me every time. I get like the goosers, but like not in the good way.
I have to like look you in the eyes as I say it.
It's just uncomfortable.
So she came, and then she rolled off him, and he was like, oh wait, I did it. And she was like,
Nah.
oh well. Because how many fucking times do men come and women don't? That's unfair. That's so unfair. So it's absolutely totally fair to be like, no, I don't want to tonight.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to, don't fucking do
fucking
it.
do it.
Don't let society or anything tell you the way you should be having sex, how often you should be having sex, how often you should be in the mood, what you need to do to make sure that your man has the best time ever. Absolutely not. If that's what you want to do, fuck yeah. But if that is not what you want to do not let anyone feed that information to you.
No. I mean, I'm probably going to go home looking like this. Looking all sexy. I just
Hey.
had McDonald's. Cam's going to be like, oh, honey, you're so sexy. Let's do it.
And
I'm going to be like, no.
you're going to be like, nah.
I'm going to bed.
He's going to be like, okay, that's fine. You're still so
You're
sexy.
still so sexy.
And that's a healthy, beautiful, wonderful relationship. Because then when you do want to have sex, you're going to be so happy and love it and be like, fuck yeah,
Yep.
because I didn't put any pressure on myself to do it when I didn't want to.
Yeah. If you guys have any comments that you want to leave, any discussions, we're an open book.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We really are.
We will communicate with you in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you want to send us DMs, anything that you have questions about that we can potentially answer, please feel free to do it. Because if I had this opportunity before, I would have taken it and I wouldn't have gotten so far in my head about the way I think about sex.
Yeah. I 100% agree. The reason we really, really, really are so passionate about this is because we collectively were like, yeah, we've never really heard anyone talk about this so normally and to normalize it. So we are 100% here, and we're going to get a sex therapist to also validate and normalize everything we've been talking about.
We can all hop on the no sex train together. Chugga chugga choo choo.
No sex till we actually want to,
Nope.
and that's the tea.
So that's it for this episode, I think.
That's
I think we
it.
should just wrap it up.
Wrap it up with a nice little bow.
A condom.
Oh. You should.
Wrap it up.
Because it's better to shoot a gun with no bullets than to shoot at a bulletproof vest.
And we're out. Bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye-bye.